What's up, everybody? How's it going? How are you doing this fine Monday night? It is October, officially. It's been a while since we have been able to meet. You know, it's keeping in with tradition after Rock the Equinox. I had to take a week off. Now, when we go to a music festival, man, we go hard. So you know what? We have to take a week off, rest our throats, unpack all of our stuff, air out all of that camping gear, and start digging into content. And I've got to say, I don't know about any of you all who have tried to get to being productive after a weekend of camping, but yours truly is way behind on everything. But I do have to say that we are catching up, and we are going to be continuing giving you a rewind each and every week until we've covered everything we talked about at this past year's Rocklahoma. We've also got content from Born and Raised, that country festival that took place a couple of weeks later, as well as we've got to talk a little bit about Rock the Equinox here a couple of weeks ago. But first, we're going to be joined by an ensemble of young musicians who are taking the local metal scene by storm with the thrash band She Hates Me Not. And we're also going to talk about this past weekend. What was I up to? What were you up to? What did you guys do this past weekend? Drop it down here in the comments. I see a lot of you right there. I think I'm going to have to fix something, unfortunately. Give me 1 second, y'all. I see one of my slides here is messing up. Well, while I work on that, why don't you guys tell me about your weekend? How did everything go? There it is. All right. Sorry about that, Monty. All right. So, I see April was at the Dime Store Riot. What's up, Adam Raymond, lead singer? Speaking of Dime Store, I worked hard all day Saturday, Christy says. Tried to recover Sunday. Migraine today. Sorry to hear about that. Naomi says the DSR rocked the shrine this weekend. They absolutely did. So you know what? Let's go ahead and move on with the show. Let's go ahead and pay some bills, folks. First up is DEB Concerts, who has been rocking Rocklahoma stage for years and years, and he did it again this past year, powering the DEB concert stage inside of the Roadhouse, featuring a whole host of musicians from that Rocklahoma lineup, including national acts, good old throwbacks to some glam rock, and locals as well, including Eyebolt and Dime Store Riot. As well, let's also give a huge shout out to At Your Service Rentals, the only place I know of where you can procure a porta potty for your personal campsite. Don't get cut out, left out in the middle of the night, stuck in line looking for a place to go poo-poo. Don't be like that guy. Hey, what are you doing over there?
Shitter was full!
Yeah, he didn't call At Your Service Rentals. Also, folks, let's be sure that we give some love to veterans, all of those men and women who have served their country, not just veterans, but active service men and women as well. Gold Star families, you count too. But, you know, we have been working with Rockavet for years and years because they believe music is medicine, and through this show, we have been giving a whole lot of that medicine away to some wonderful vets who, as I said, they put it all on the line for all of us to have a good time. And with that being said, remember, folks, if you would like to have your service photo or a photo of you in uniform featured here on the show, shoot us an email, survivingrocklahoma@gmail.com. We want to feature your war face.
Now let me see your war face. Ah!
Yeah, needs work. Send me survivingrocklahoma@gmail.com. In the subject, put war face, and let's see your service photos. Also, we would like to give some love to the Rocklahoma bitches.
Hey, this is Brick Cobb giving a shout out to Redneck Bitches.
Yeah, the Redneck Bitches, as well as they made their premiere this year at Born and Raised Country Music Festival. Christy and Kendra and all of the gang that help out and support the Rocklahoma Bitches always secures a good time anywhere they go. We love that swag as much as we love the positive energy that these girls always bring to a party, and we are glad to have their support here at Surviving Rocklahoma. Also want to give some love out to our proud business partner and sponsor, Photography by Angel Lee. She's covered the country with me two times now. First, Key West for Rock Island, then also covered Welcome to Rockville this past year in Daytona, as well as 3 Rocklahomas, 2 Rock the Rivers, and 2 Rock the Equinox. Man, she is becoming a staple on the local music scene. She loves capturing it. So thank you so much, Photography by Angel Lee, for working with us and collaborating and capturing this community and the family that we know and love. Remember, folks, you can capture her photos by going to Photography by Angel Lee on Facebook. She's dropped over 700 photos of Rocklahoma, and I'm told that she was working on more today, and then she'll be moving on to Rock the Equinox. So be sure to keep aware of her Facebook page. Hit that like, follow button, and be sure you tag all of your friends when you see them in those photos. But remember, give credit where credit's due, and tag that photo or tag that photographer. Yes, and I also want to give a shout out to the Big Old Bus, bringing a busload debauchery to a Rocklahoma near you, as well as other festivals. She's made one appearance at Rock the River, made a couple of appearances at Rock the Equinox with more family affair, as well as the usual shenanigans that we love to participate in the wee hours of the morning before the sun comes up. And the Big Old Bus is always bringing a great time. Lots of love to Shannon Bollinger, as well as the voice of the bus, Daniel Whitmus, as he serenaded us with some all kinds of fun activities and kept everything going at Rock the Equinox and Rocklahoma. And we've got some great photos of that as well. Now, we also want to give a lot of love to Metalcore Clothing. Metalcore Clothing is our newest sponsor here on the show, and they are the folks that produced our last 2 rounds of shirts, which are the Tribal Skull that was designed by Angel, as well as the original design from this year, whenever they do that benefit for me that says proud member of my local music scene. Both of those are available. They are on sale for $25 if you order online. Now, you guys slammed the merch table at Rock the Equinox, and I actually sold out of almost all of my size large shirts. I've only got a couple of size large left, but they are the brand spanking new sweatshirts, also produced by Metalcore Clothing. They sell for $45. So if you guys would like a t-shirt or would like a hoodie, shoot me an email, survivingrocklahoma@gmail.com. Now, this week's threads brought to you by Metalcore Clothing. This one was graciously given to me on behalf of the band that will be joining us here in about 15 to 20 minutes. This is from She Hates Me Not. Don't forget, they have a show coming up this weekend. We're going to talk a little bit about it here in a little bit. Now, we also want to continue our tradition. Before we kick off the show, we do it the same way each and every week, folks. We kick off the show, we crack off the show by cracking open a beer. So whatever you are token or chugging, that we would like to give our thanks to all of you for joining us. And let's have cheers to a good time on behalf of Prior Liquors, Wines, and Spirits, the folks that sell the suds to keep me sauced. Cheers to everybody. That's what I'm talking about. Tastes like Monday evening. That one was for Christian. He said drink one for him. He still can't drink after his surgery. Ugh, that is so sorry to hear that, Christian. I hope you have a speedy recovery. So let's get into a little bit about this weekend. Yes, Misty, I don't know if you've ghosted yourself with the NyQuil the way I have in the past, but it could definitely count. I don't encourage it, but it does work. Probably shouldn't drink with my migraines. Oh, you can't drink and you're going to listen to me for an hour and a half. I pity you. All right, with that being said, folks, let's talk about our weekend. This past weekend, we caught the Dime Store Riot show. We have been talking a lot about Dime Store Riot the last couple of weeks. Actually, the last couple of months. These guys are everywhere. Guys and gal, I should say. What is up, Paulette? We covered this weekend. It was absolutely amazing. It was packed, man. I rolled in a couple of hours late, and I missed a couple of the first bands. However, what I did catch was absolutely amazing. I caught a couple right before Dime Store Riot took stage, but everybody were already buzzing. There was not a band playing that night that didn't impress and leave a great impression on somebody. So this was their CD release party, folks. Now, I wish I tried to record some, but the audio didn't turn out too well. So how about you guys? Did you get a good shot, a good clip of the concert, or any other concerts for that matter? Shoot us an email, survivingrocklahoma@gmail.com. We'd love to see your highlights and include them in the show. Yeah, April said that 11 After was amazing. You know, we did catch Dime Store. We also caught another band that really caught my attention that played afterwards, called Circus. This group of young folks were absolutely awesome as well. The lead singer was having the time of his life. They just absolutely killed it and had a lot of energy. And that was a perfect follow-up of Dime Store Riot's usual set. You know, they played Rocklahoma 2 times in 2 years. We sat down with them and had an interview. We played that interview the last live stream. Now, you can also catch that full-length interview and all of our other interviews we captured at this year's Rocklahoma on our YouTube channel. Now, we have also been very blessed. Let me see what we got going on. Yes. Mention the highlights. Okay. Yeah. notify. Wish we did before circus, but I really feel bad. Yeah, it's all right, Misty Love. Well, and, I love going to the shrine. Every time we go to the shrine, it is an absolute blast. We have so much fun out there. And huge props to Donnie and all of the staff of that venue. And we also want to give a shout out to one of his other passion projects. That would be the Outsiders House Museum, located also here in the Tulsa area. It is an amazing museum, and it attracts musicians and celebrities and actors abroad. You never know who's going to be passing through. So that's also a fun, interesting passion project that Donnie's got. I always like to give a little bit of a shout out on that. You know what? Let me get this meeting started so that I can make sure our guests are lined up. Alrighty, we got the Zoom up all ready and everything. Now, we were also talking about the Warface shout outs. We are going to start featuring more of our photos from our good friends, our veterans and active servicemen and women who would like to be recognized, or maybe you have one in your family that you would like to give a special recognition. Well, go ahead and send those over to survivingrocklahoma@gmail.com. We would love to highlight that hero in your life. Let's see. Michael, thank you once again, Michael Fleeman, for that compliment on the shirt. Going back here into the comments. So let's, if I could get a signal from somebody either in the band or Michael, was that you I was visiting with on their behalf? So let's make sure that we've got them ready to go before we start moving on with the show. Until then, we can go ahead and start talking a little bit more about Rocklahoma and Dime Store Riot. Yeah, there we go. I think I see our guest in the green room, if you will. So with that being said, I think we are going to go ahead and show a little bit from our guest that will be joining us here momentarily. Now, they've got an amazing single out, and they sent me the email here just recently, and so I checked it out, and I said, you know what, this track is awesome. I've got to play it from these guys. So here is their new single from She Hates Me Not, The Underneath.
The Underneath. Whole lot of nothing. Thank you.
Storm afraid, like creatures Should I turn that off? It's kind of.
And once again, that was She Hates Me Not. And you know what? Speaking of, I'm joined by a couple of gentlemen from that very band via Zoom. What is up, fellas?
Hey.
Hey.
You know, before we get started, let me make sure that I've got this working for us. And Zoom Workplace. It's always right when I need it. That's when it works. There we go. I think that takes that down. Fun times. There we go. Now I see you can speak up. Let me make sure we can hear you guys.
Hey.
Hello.
All right. Well, unfortunately, they can't hear you, but I tell you what, we are. Let me see what I can do here. The joys of being live.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Christy says they can hear you. I'm just not getting the bounce.
Hooray.
All right. Well, you guys keep on talking then. Introduce yourselves for us.
All right. I'm Jet Fleeman. I play rhythm guitar and sing. And this is.
I'm Kate Baldwin, and I play drums. That's about it.
And Keg.
Oh, yeah,
Occasionally.
and keg occasionally, yeah.
You know, you guys, I know you guys probably get sick of hearing this. You've been here, but let's just call it for what it is. You guys are young. How old are you guys for playing in a band?
I'm going to be 16 in a couple days.
I'm 19, and then the other two are 14. Yeah.
Yep.
Both of them.
Nice. Now, how long have you all been playing as a band?
About two or 3 years.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years. What pulled you guys together as a band?
Well, I know Nico and Jet from the place that we all like collectively took lessons. It's a place called Oklahoma Music Academy, and then
We stole our bass
Alec,
player.
yeah.
We stole him from School of Rock. We went to a show and saw him play bass, and we were like, "Hey, he's pretty good."
So, you guys came together as a band. How did you know that that you guys felt like you had the right chemistry, that you wanted to go ahead and start pushing and getting the grind?
Well, we all kind of are.
That's a you question, man.
We're all kind of music nerds, and aside from the guitar player Nico, we all like fast and aggressive music.
Okay, I feel like Nico likes it too. It's just
He doesn't listen to it.
Yeah, he is like a jazz head, and I'm halfway there with him. I feel like we all kind of share the same passion to just be on a stage and perform for people, which is nice because this is a way we can do that. I don't really know if any of us kind of envisioned this type of thing as what we were like going to be performing as for a long time, but it's how we all, or it's where we are right now. So
Destiny.
pretty cool, yeah.
Do you guys play sports or have other school extracurricular activities?
Nico plays soccer, and he's in the band, I believe. Orchestra. He's in orchestra.
Plays the cello.
And I do not do anything. And our bass player also plays soccer.
Well, you know, heavy metal is basically the modern day version of what is now known as classical music, the composers and all of that, and Mozart and all of that stuff, because it's all about layering the complex sounds into a heavy and rich sound. Do you tell me a little bit of what fuels you all's your music collectively?
I'd say aggression. Angst. No, I'm just kidding. Just passion. A lot of passion, and
if it sounds good, honestly,
Yeah.
like if we're listening to it and we're like, yeah, this is awful, we just completely scrap it and throw the entire thing we've been working like for 3 hours on, just throw it away.
Yep.
And then we just start from scratch.
So what we usually do is we have two members go in the band room and we have them play through the song, and then we have two of us come in here and listen through it through the wall, and we decide whether or not if we were outside of a venue and we heard that from the inside, whether or not we would go in to watch it, and that's how we decide what we like.
Yeah.
Well, and I dig that too. And see, when I was high school, I never could couldn't get down a musical instrument and stuff. And athletics is always good for a personal outlet. And you guys are really caught between a rock and a hard place as far as, being a teenager and dealing with all of the high school and dealing with, all of the life at that age, plus still trying to figure out what you want to do and also listen to your folks and all of that stuff. So that has got to be like a unique perspective that you guys can bring out, that rage and stuff from that. I know we hear a lot of it from bands, all the time, but does any of that come out in the music that you've released?
Absolutely. In fact, I'd say probably 70 to 80% of the lyrics that I write come from me sitting in class stressed out or just bored or worried or stuff like that.
Yeah, I just kind of hit really hard, and that's the aggression from me. If you see us live, you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't hold back, and I hit it as hard as humanly possible.
So speaking of, tell me a little bit about playing live.
Live is
very different.
It's different for sure. I think playing live is like, that's like what being a band to me is all about. I feel like if you can reflect the passion in your music onto a live audience, then you are a successful band.
And then not only that, but getting kind of receiving
the same
energy back from the crowd. If you play to a dead crowd and they're not feeling you, then it's it's whatever. But if you're playing to them and they're feeling it, they're getting pumped up too, and they're just having a great time, that makes us on the stage also have a great time, and even a better time, if I'm being honest, just because it's fun knowing that what we're doing is providing happiness and enjoyment to other people.
For sure.
So after entertaining groups of people and the crowd's getting bigger, is it a little bit of a surreal experience once you come off stage and you're out of your local home turf and you're just out and about, and then somebody recognizes you from your band or your songs?
Yeah, one time me and Jet were at Quick Trip, actually, and some lady came up to us and she was like, "Aren't you the kid?" And we were like, "Yeah." It was weird because it was a Quick Trip, but
yeah.
Yeah.
it was definitely cool. I've been caught a couple times in Guitar Center by some people, and I always think it's super cool. It makes me really happy.
That's awesome, guys. I can't wait to see what all you guys have coming up. You've got a big a gig coming up this Saturday, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. Can you tell me a little bit about the gig and how it came together?
Yeah, so it's so funny. I was actually talking to Jet about this. It was yesterday, right?
Probably.
I was like, man, it's so crazy to think from the idea of this show to actually it being here and it about to happen. Because we were all sitting in Yokozuna downtown eating some sushi, and his dad, our manager, just thought of the idea, just kind of threw it out there. He's like, what if we put on a show, kind of like a mini festival type thing with just a bunch of out-of-state bands? And we were like, yeah, that's a good idea, and all this stuff. And then one thing led to another, picking out the bands and then booking the show, and then, it just every step after it's crazy to see it actually happening. And then now we're here the week of the show.
Yeah,
we're super pumped.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So after seeing your own show coming together, are you guys bit? Are you already planning the next one?
We do plan to make it an annual thing for sure.
Yeah. This so taking out the thrash we're wanting to do every year, hopefully at the Vanguard, but if it becomes a big enough thing, it'd be cool to go to like, I don't know, Tulsa Theater or something. But right now we really like the Vanguard, and we love that place. So we want to keep it there.
For sure.
But yearly thing of just bringing bands from
up and coming bands
from other states too. So not from Oklahoma. So not really many people know them here, at least. So that'll be cool. So they can also spread their reach over into Tulsa. Yeah. Grow the music scene. Yeah.
That's awesome, guys. What are you guys working on, like, other than preparing for this gig? What are you guys doing as a band right now? Where's your attention at?
Writing.
Yeah, for sure. So we're focusing on pumping out on social media stuff to promote the upcoming release of our album. And then also working on just pumping the releases that we've already, because as you know, I'm sure, we are releasing one song at a time until the whole album's out. And we're 3 songs away from the whole album being out. It's titled Secrets of Salem. I'm very proud of it.
I think we all are. We're very, we're very happy with the product that it is. Like, it's at a spot where it feels finished, and it's just, yeah. Yeah,
and right now we're working on writing material for the second album.
Do you guys have been in the band a couple of years? Music caught your interest. Is there any part of the process that you wasn't ready for? Like, you're like, oh my gosh, we have to go through this every time. This is so tedious.
Yes. Yep. It's called the trailer. and being our own roadie.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Especially whenever you put something in there, and then whenever you come out, you hit your head on the top of it, because it doesn't move and it hurts really bad.
Right.
Amount of times the side door. I hate it.
Roadie life is not a glamorous life, and it's not glamorous till you got those labels. So that is awesome, guys. Now, do you guys have conditions as far as like your school goes, and like, do you have to maintain a certain level, or like the parents are like, no, you're not going to do this if you're not keeping up?
Well, obviously my dad tells me every day, your grades come first. The band is obviously, it's a big thing, but just graduate.
That's absolutely true. Remember, C's get degrees, fellas, but yes, stay in school, Timmy. We've been talking about your journey of She Hates Me Not, and how you guys came together, what you guys are working on in this big gig you've got coming up Saturday night. I'm so glad to be part of it. Now, what is on the horizon? What do you guys got your sights set on for next?
As of right now, just mainly focusing on that show, and then writing, and just really hammering down on performing a tight set.
We're at a spot where all of the stuff that we play we're really comfortable with, and we're really trying to like narrow it down, all the fine details, and get it to like a really polished like live show. And then we're also trying to work on just expanding.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Getting out of
state.
Yeah,
for sure. We're trying to expand to surrounding states and just broaden our audience.
I dig it, guys. Well, I can't wait to see you guys perform this weekend, and I can't see what else you've got coming up and what you have in store for you guys. You seem like a couple of great kids. I've seen you perform. Just remember to keep making good decisions, keep your inner circle by people you can trust, and don't get too crazy in this metal life. Now, before I let you go, I like to give all of my guests the opportunity to address your fans, your audience, the folks who are buying tickets that are available now to see She Hates Me Not with a whole host of other bands this weekend in Tulsa. She Hates Me Not. Gentlemen, the stage is yours.
All right, so I'd like to personally invite everyone to come down to the show this Saturday. It's going to be great. It is it's obviously called Taking Out the Thrash. It's a $20 cover. We got bands from Texas, Nemesis, Powerhouse, and Labyrinth. And we have a band from Arkansas coming called LRM. And, of course, yours truly, She Hates Me Not. And, yeah, we just like to invite everyone. And we like to say thanks to our sponsors, Alley Cat Ranch, Horton Records, Tulsa Guitar, Outreach Clothing, and, of course, you. Thank you.
Yep.
Of course. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Just everyone, we'd like to see you at the show. It's going to be a pretty cool, fun experience.
We appreciate you guys. Thank you for making some time for us this evening, ladies and gentlemen. That was She Hates Me Not for the band. I'm Adam Richmond. Now, do not go anywhere, folks. I'm going to go ahead and let these guys go, but I've got a musical number by this woman who just absolutely tore down Rocklahoma and even earned herself a guest spot on stage with David Drumming. Ladies and gentlemen, Royale Lynn.
Thank you so much.
They gave you a throne, they gave you a town, they build you an army to fight for the crown. I know what you think, this is what you want, but a part of me rots and a part of you's gone. So go on, darling, save yourself, 'cause I'm scared I'm going to hell. I let my fire feed the beast of desire. It burns me up and that's the pain I will remember. Control takes a piece of my soul. It holds me under till I go insane. But there's a sacrifice I make. Give me a lynch, give me a grave. I'd rather be dead than to give up this name. I've seen the monsters, I carry the weight, and you couldn't handle the price that I paid. So go on, keep your sanity. Lord knows there's no saving me. I let my fire feed the beast of desire. It burns me up and that's the pain I will remember. Control takes a piece of my soul. It holds me under till I go insane. But there's a sacrifice I make. All the chemicals and the fucking trolls think there's something twisted up the blood, something medical. Another pretty face, kiss, just a centerfold. Looking like a god when you put me on a pedestal. It burns me up and that's the pain I will remember. Control takes a piece of my soul. It holds me under till I go insane. But there's a sacrifice I make.
And that was Sacrifice from Royale Lynn. Did you catch them at Rocklahoma this year? Well, let me tell you, she has some pipes that will just cut right through straight to your soul and get to that heavy metal spine of yours and send shivers right up it. I absolutely love listening to some Royale Lynn. Now, you know, some really cool things happened this year at Rocklahoma, and we are going to talk about a few of them, but few things are more cool and relevant to what we just saw than this interview. You know, I was so honored to get to sit down with the songstress herself, Royale. And I am your host with the locks that rocks. This is the official podcast of Rocklahoma, Surviving Rocklahoma, and I am joined by someone who has already rocked the stage. What is up, Royal Lynn?
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Let me tell you something. I am very excited to sit down with you. I've been doing my homework. I've been checking out the Spotify playlist, seeing who all I'm going to be watching. Girl, you have some pipes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to the music. Oh my goodness, it means the world to me.
Absolutely. So I'm very curious about what got you into music initially in the first place.
Music has surrounded my life since I was a kid. I really loved rock and hard rock and metal and, punk bands growing up. So it's really special, to be amongst the community now. But I grew up in the middle of nowhere on a farm. So it's just crazy that like sometimes your influences come from all over the world and, you live in a small town. So I used to buy my CDs at the Radio Shack and then I wanted to sing. My mom was like, you should ride horses. And I was like, I really want to play guitar. So they got me into guitar lessons, and honestly, the fire was lit.
And from then you're just like, that's what I want to do.
I could not put it aside. It was something that was always like, I think you need to do this. And, I even tried to go to college, and I realized that I wasn't supposed to do that. I was supposed to move to Nashville and, start my life there. So I moved there at 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, see, with this story, okay, so small town, moved to Nashville.
Yep.
Why are you playing a rock and roll festival?
Because the music that we've been creating, I think from the influences over the years, I've kind of just leaned in more of the rock space, but I also love writing country. So I actually write country for other artists still.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I want to rock, and I want to do what the bands that have influenced me growing up. And we're getting a chance to do that with a country tie and a mental health standpoint as well. So we kind of have the best of both worlds in that scenario, that we kind of get to be from the country but still rock out on stage.
Man, you've hit a couple of topics already super quick for me. One is infusing country with rock. You are in the heartland. You're in Oklahoma. This is what we're all about.
I love
in 2 weeks, the metalheads gone, and then all the country folk come in for Born and Raised.
I love it.
Now, also, you mentioned mental health, and one of the sponsors of our podcast is Rockavet, and they believe that music is medicine.
Oh, I love that.
And I really love to hear people who give the emotional and put lyrics to what we are feeling. Can you tell me a little bit about how your personal experience come out in your music?
So I write what I know, and that is, my own struggles, and music saved me growing up, and most of my favorite bands were also talking about mental health, and that's kind of where it stemmed from, was that I didn't want to be afraid to tell my story through the music, and now I get to do that and sing it on a stage at Rocklahoma, which is crazy. So it's been really special to have people relate to also what I've dealt with in my life.
Now, moving forward, and we process what we go through, and then we evolve and we grow and we move on to others. Do you find that hard rehashing those old scars?
No, because I feel like writing music and singing it too is healing. So while it's also healing others out there who are streaming the music and coming to the shows, it's also healing me to see the music have such an impact on everybody who comes to the shows. It's been truly special to see that other people struggle just as much as I do.
Absolutely. And we all do. And a lot of people, especially after COVID, just consider things the plague times because there's just always something going on.
There's always something, and it's okay. It's okay to struggle with your mental health.
So tell me what's next? What's on the horizon? What's your next goal, the brass ring you're reaching for?
Well, we're about to hit the road with Skillet and Seether and to Montana, and I'm very excited about that. So we leave in 2.5 weeks for that tour, and we're gone a month. I'm so excited. We have new music coming out. We just cut the record. There's a lot going on. We've been very busy, and today we get to be at Rocklahoma with y'all.
Oh my gosh. So I know you're super packed. You've got a lot of stuff going on, and it's a testament to the buzz and the interest in your music. And you made an impression here, and you made an impression coming up. And thank you, by the way, so much for allowing us to feature your music on the podcast.
Oh my God, absolutely! Thank you for wanting to.
Absolutely,
that means the world to me.
Now, speaking of, before we wrap up every interview, I like to give every artist a chance to just directly acknowledge the audience, the folks who watched you on the DEB concert stage inside the Roadhouse, the folks who buy your albums and download the streams. If you would look at the camera, the mic is yours.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to my music. I hope that it has an impact the way that it healed me. And let's talk about mental health and rock music.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It has been an absolute honor to sit with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. Now, once again, for Royale Lynn, I am Adam Richmond, your host with the Locks That Rocks. This is the official podcast of Rocklahoma, Surviving Rocklahoma. And until next time, rock on. And that was my interview with Royale Lynn. She was an absolute sweetheart, and she also made time to get a couple of photos with us, answer a couple more questions. Just a great person, and I was so glad, and we were so surprised to see her later on. She didn't give us any hints or any clue that she would be brought on stage later on by David Drummond himself for that special segment there on the main stage during the Disturb set. Now, there's a lot of really cool moments that was caught this year at Rocklahoma, and they were caught thank you to our proud partner and sponsor, Photography by Angel Lee. Look at some of these gorgeous photos that she caught for us. Let me expand that a little bit better so that you guys can get a good view of these. She dropped over 700 photos this past, of Rocklahoma, and she's still got some more to go, she says. And these things are just absolutely stunning, and there are some priceless moments in these. Now, if you go check these out on her Facebook, what you'll want to do is make sure you hit that follow button. And also, by the way, congratulations to Miss Rocklahoma 2024. She was a pleasure to visit with backstage. We got a little bit of an interview, but I have to clean up the audio on that one. But yeah, we are just scrolling through here. This was the moment that one of our favorite Rocklahoma bitches, Christy, had got herself another guitar. You can see my reaction, but she was all smiles. She knew who was the winner. We absolutely love the Rocklahoma bitches and appreciate what they do for that, because we know those funds go to charity. Huge thank you again to both Christy and Kendra. We don't get a whole lot of photos of Kendra, so this was awesome to catch this one. What up, sister? We are always glad to see our Rocklahoma bitches anytime Angel is out with a camera. We also got to sit down with Arkansas Hangover Alan himself. We had a good time. We were cutting up there on Radio Row. You can see Carlos is there asleep. At least we think he was. We sat down with several bands, including Any Given Sin, the Oxymorons can be said right here. Our good friends in Dime Store Riot. It was always a pleasure to sit down with CJ, Paulette, and Brian. And Adam was busy. I think Adam was injured. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, you can see all of those photos and a whole lot more. There is one of our other artists, signed. That's Nothing More. We had Nothing More who signed the guitars that were given away by this podcast to as the grand prize for the Rocklahoma scavenger hunt. We got so many people that signed those. They were absolutely covered. We also want to give once again a shout out to our 2024 best campsite winners, the Barn. And let me tell you guys, these guys, it was a clean sweep. We did popular voting through the website Surviving Rocklahoma at survivingrocklahoma.com. We had hundreds of votes, and by a clear 30%, these guys won best campsite, best new campsite and best party, and by 15% took best campsite. So the question is, are you going to be the winners of next year's best campsite contest? Well, next year we're going to expand. We've taken a lot of notes. We've taken suggestions. We've kept some good things. We've changed some other things. And next year we are also going to be expanding and making it easier than ever to vote for your best campsite picks. Now, we've also got much more coming, folks. Let's see what else we've got. Now, be sure that you check over to our Instagram, as we will begin sharing photos and highlights from Angel's coverage of these music festivals on our own social media pages as well. But this is always going to be the best place to get all of those photos. Look at all of these beautiful crowd shots of folks. So if you see a photo of yourself, be sure to tag yourself, tag your friends. If you decide to share one, make sure that you tag the photographer as you do so. And a lot of love to all of the photographers as well. But this is the one I've been bringing along with me for 3 years now to cover Rocklahoma and all the other festivals that we are invited to on behalf of the podcast. So once again, folks, that was a recap of Rocklahoma brought to you by Photography by Angel Lee. Now, moving on, we've got another festival that we had recently covered, and it was made up of a lot of fine folks that we met there at Rocklahoma. And I always consider this a bit of a Rocklahoma family reunion. So Rock the Equinox in Stigler, Oklahoma is a free festival. They've been doing it for several years. This was their 9th year doing Rock the Equinox, and they had a lot of amazing acts, a bunch of locals, a couple from extended distances who were happy to travel and travel and play that weekend. And I've got to say, guys, it was bigger than they've ever been. I mean, easily double from within the last couple of years, I would say. I mean, it was just so many people that it was so much bigger than it usually is. And it's usually not to say that, it's never not busy. They also had a lot of great sponsors. They had a couple of other great outlets that came in. I want to give a lot of love and shout out to the Loud Spot, who made their first visit to the festival, and we made fast friends with Sebastian and all the rest of the gang. You need to check them out on all of the social media platforms. They are some good folks, and they do put out some pretty damn good content as well. And we had a lot of fun partying with them. Speaking of partying, we did our share of partying at the Big Old Bus. We hosted my second ever lip sync battle. Thank you again for Shannon and crew for inviting me to host once again the lip sync battle. And we had a great crowd, and it was just a lot of fun watching folks give it their all. And, you know, these winners of that contest, I mean, man, they earned it. I mean, they were delivered. They were full out performing. It was supposed to be a lip sync battle, but I suspect they were hitting over half of those notes, note for note. I mean, they just absolutely had a blast, and that's what it's all about. We also want to give a shout out to Rock of Love and the Black Pearl for coming together and supporting all the party out there, and, you know, giving everybody a safe place to have fun. And, you know, remember, it was a family festival, so we all looked out for each other and looked out for each other's kids and all of that stuff. And to my knowledge, everybody was well behaved, so I'm very glad to hear that as well. And let's not forget the fun and shenanigans we had at the lake. Not that one. Not that one.
Giggity.
There it is. No, not those. We had the redneck slipper and slide. I can't even say it. I wake up in the morning. I come out of my camper Saturday, and I'm getting ready for my day. I'm about to head up the hill, and then all of a sudden, there's a lot of crazy people lining up on the hill. Oh, yeah. Next thing I know, there's tarps and Dawn dish soap pouring down this whole thing. I mean, it was pretty awesome. And then I just see a bunch of grown people flying down the side of a hill. It was pretty awesome. So kudos to everybody who helped put all of that on. And speaking of kudos, while we're giving those out, I want to give a lot of love out to Lori and all the rest of the crew that put on this amazing festival, and everything you do and the partners that you work with in order to keep this festival free and still take care of your musicians, your vendors, and everybody else that are out there trying to make a living while supporting that local music scene. You guys nailed it. You guys knocked it out of the park this year. I cannot wait to see what the crew from Rock the Equinox does next year. We also talked, once again, a little bit of Rocklahoma. We talked to Royale Lynn. We showed you some photos from photography by Angel Lee. And we also already gave you a taste of one of those bands. Now, you know, it is 10 o'clock. It is officially going into the second hour. Now, I'm going to make you folks be a little bit more eclectic in your musical tastes, all right? So we've done the rock and roll. You know, we've paid homage to Rocklahoma, but you know what? Some of us, we got a little bit more of a southern flair as well. We got those red dirt in our lungs and our veins and the bottom of our feet, ladies and gentlemen. Born and Raised happened just over a month ago, and it was, or just under a month ago, it was an amazing festival. You don't even have to, it doesn't even matter if you're a country music fan. The atmosphere was awesome, and it was so welcoming, and it's just night and day. Not that Rocklahoma isn't, but in all the ways that Rocklahoma is the amalgamation of heavy metal, hippies, Sturgis, and Spring Break all rolled into one. Born and Raised is very much a flip side, but in the all best of ways. I mean, watch the movie Pure Country. I mean, Yellowstone, or, you know, some of those other, it's just a different type of magic, and I absolutely loved it. And in addition to that, those people are still, man, they like to party as well. Speaking of parties, I want to give a huge huge props and congratulations to Christy and gang of Camp Fuck Around and Find Out, because this camp was absolutely huge and there was a lot of people there and they were all safe. They had staff volunteers, they had plenty of services thanks to At Your Service Rentals. It was organized, everybody was happy, but man, they tore it down, y'all. I mean, it was a nightclub out in the middle of Quail's Nest, GA camping. And you Rocklahoma folks, if you didn't even go to the festival and you walked over there at the after hours, you would have been totally proud. Now, with that being said, it was a awesome lineup out there, including Cody Johnson, Hank Williams Jr., Co Wetzel, Dwight Yoakam still got it, by the way. Dwight can still get the crowd moving. He can still dance, and he's still got those moves that have been captivating audiences for generations now. Shane Smith and the Saints, a whole host of other folks. You know, we only had like 4 interviews that were scheduled, and we ended up getting like 10 or 12. We've already spoke with Tim Montana. We showed you our interview with the Wilder Blue on the last episode. Now this one is Brent Cobb. Now, if you guys love those classic, rustic voices, oh man, the soul that this man has in his music is just absolutely awesome. And he's pretty cool to talk to as well. We sat down with him this year at Born and Raised 2024. This is my interview with Brent Cobb.
I am your host with the locks that rocks, Adam Richmond, and this is your official podcast of Born and Raised Country Music Festival, Surviving Born and Raised. And I am joined by an artist that was amazing on stage. What is up, Mr. Brent Cobb?
How are you? I don't know it. Hanging in there. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing after that performance?
It was all right. It was a little hot up there for us. I was singing to the sun, but doing all right, man. It's good to be here. I've wanted to play this festival for a long time, and it's cool to be a part of it.
Man, I am so glad to have you here on this show. Can you tell me a little bit about your, performing for this audience?
Well, I feel like it's my people.
Yeah.
I tell a half joke at a bunch of my shows that goes like this. It's only taken me nearly 20 years to get to the bottom of my career, to just get started. And I'm just glad to be here. And I feel like it's taken that long to be a part of a crowd that I know is my crowd also,
I love it. Just riding the wave.
For sure, man.
And there's always something about just being in your natural element. And when it's of this size, I believe last estimate was like 14,000 people.
Right.
And you just go and you're, we're home.
Well, and it's 14,000 of like just good old regular old folks, It's like I said, it's my kind of people. Me and my bass player rode through the campgrounds earlier today, and saw some old friends and met new friends, and folks doing what I do. It's my kind of people.
So are you more of the responsible folk who are taking care and like, I'm a professional, or am I going to go tear it up in the campgrounds?
A little bit of both, man.
A little bit of both?
I live a foot on both sides of the fence. Yeah, I like to have fun, and sometimes it's soberly.
Yeah.
And sometimes it ain't.
I dig it, man. And these campgrounds right here is just, man, for those who come every year or those who have been coming to its other festival, Rocklahoma, there's just something sacred about these grounds because it's a little bit of everything for everyone. I mean, if you just want to kick back and just listening to the people hoot and holler, or somebody walking around with a guitar just looking to tell their story, or if you just want it spring break, it's all here.
It's some of the nicest campgrounds I have ever seen at any festival ever.
Really?
I said that to somebody that runs it earlier. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, I've never seen campgrounds this nice, and I've been to a lot of festivals over the last 20 years or so, and yeah, I have never seen campgrounds this nice, and this like, you know, camper friendly.
Yeah, let me tell you, Sharon and Dave Ginke have been running this property for years and years. It's their baby.
That's what I heard.
And man, they really take care of us. They look at us like all of their crazy kids.
Yeah, man.
And I appreciate, and they appreciate that too, man. Can you tell me something about playing red dirt festivals versus other types of festivals that have multi-genre in it?
Sure. Well, I mean, in my experience, it seems like I'm sure y'all have heard this before, but like the red dirt crowd as a whole is just, they're more willing to listen to the songs, you know? They're true fans of music, and they're not just there to party. I mean, they partying too, you know, but everybody's thoughtful, and you can tell people really care genuinely, versus when you go to, you know, I don't know what you'd call that, but the other side of the genre, you know, people are more there to, on those other kind, to just party and rub elbows.
I get you. So, tell me a little bit about the music. What are you so presently most excited about that you've been working on?
That I've been working on?
Yes, sir.
Well, I put a new album out about a year ago. It's called Southern Star. Pretty proud of that one. But I going in the studio in December. I'm gonna go out to LA. It's the first time I've recorded in LA in almost 20 years, and we're gonna start working on the next album. We'll take the road band out there with me, and man, I'm just excited to keep my lights on and my baby's fed, making music more than anything. You know, as long as that keeps happening, I'm happy.
How long have you been like considering yourself like a professional musician? Like, I'm a career musician.
Yeah, it's been 20 years.
20 years.
No kidding. Yeah, it's been 20 years. Yep.
Do you have like, what does it for you that like, man, I just can't do nothing else? Like, I could hang it up. Like, we went through a pandemic. I can do some other things, but nah, this is just.
Well, what you just said is I can't not do it. It's who I am. I mean, if the money flow stopped, you know, I would still be performing. I ain't scared to go cut some trees down again either, you know. Yeah. I used to work for a tree service crew, and we would transplant with pines and stuff. But anyway, I wouldn't mind doing that again. I could do that, but I would still write songs even then, you know. It's just what I do. It really is a part of who I am.
You got any standout tales from your time as a lumberjack?
All right. This isn't too crazy, but this coincides with me beginning my career as a professional musician also. We'd been at work all day long. I was about 18, and I had just met a distant cousin of mine at a funeral, and he was a big LA record producer. And I gave him a little demo of about 6 songs that I'd been writing. I get off work that day from that tree service crew, me and my buddy, my best friend, and we had just smoked a joint. And and we're sweating, you know, we're hot at the end of the day. And by that time, the house phone rings. I was still living at my folks' house at that time. I didn't have a cell phone or anything. And it's that cousin who I had just met at the funeral a few days earlier. And he had Shooter Jennings with him, and this cousin had produced that Put the O Back in Country by Shooter Jennings. Dave Cobb is my cousin, and he rang, and I said hello, and he said, hey, is Brent there? I said, it's him. He said, it's your cousin Dave. We met at my grandma's funeral a few days ago, and I listened to your demo, and I got Shooter sitting here with me, and we want to fly you to LA. And I looked at my buddy who's over there sweating in his work clothes, you know, the hair tree service uniform. And I was like mouthing at the phone. I was like, holy, you know, I couldn't believe it. And So there's a story from about a week after that. I took off to LA and started making music professionally. So that's a story that involves both the tree service life and the musician life.
I couldn't have asked for a better story, and that's one thing I love about red dirt country artists, or just our end of the country spectrum, is it's all about the story in the music. And some of one of my favorite events down here in the campgrounds, we were just sitting there and somebody walked up with a guitar. Can I tell you a story for a beer? Yeah. So we had him a beer and he just started strumming and playing.
That's what's up. That's what it's all about, man. No doubt.
Do you have any, so Shooter Jennings is like, oh my gosh. And do you have any other collabs that you're just like, man, I did that.
Yeah.
I worked with that guy.
Today Miranda Lambert just put out a new album. I got a song on there that I wrote called January Heart. And I've written several songs that Miranda's recorded over the years. Whiskey Myers recorded a song that I wrote when I was 16 called Bar Guitar and a Honky Tonk Crowd. And they put that out on their Firewater album in 2011. And there's a bunch of them, man. It's been a bunch of them. I've been super blessed.
Man, such a career. What's next?
Just continue to try to keep the lights on and the babies fed, and I don't know. Just keep playing, keep riding.
We'll see where it goes.
Be happy to be here.
What is that? Just about every guy said, I'll figure it out.
That's it. Yeah, I'll let the Lord figure it out, and I'll just keep on traveling,
I dig it, man. Before I let every artist go, I like to give them an opportunity. Just look their fans directly in the face. Anything you've got to say to your fans, or any shout outs, Britt, the stage is yours.
Well, you already know that I appreciate y'all listening. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And for those of you who have never heard of me, thanks for tuning in. I hope you listen to the music. Cheers.
Thank you so much. For Brent, I'm Adam Richmond, the host with the Locks That Rocks, the official podcast of not only Rocklahoma, but Born and Raised Country Music Festival. And until next time, rock on.
That was my interview with Brent Cobb at Born and Raised just a month ago, and very, very down-to-earth, cool, laid-back guy. I had absolute blast talking to him, not only at the interview, but we bumped into him later on at the festival as well. There's just something about the country sound that I'll always have a weak spot. I may be a metalhead and rocker through and through, but man, I just got a weak spot for some good old red dirt country music. Case in point, check out this amazing track from Brent Cobb. This is Southern Star.
Under the southern star, I heal all of my scars. As cicadas sing, ain't it the sweetest dream? Winding kudzu bands untangled of my mind. How beloved is my home, sweet home. I've been a drifter down most highways. I've been lost at sea. There's one thing this world can never take from me. No matter how far I go, no matter how deep the dark, I know I can always count on the Southern Star. How do I define all those good old times, way on way back when, ratty and full of friends, bitter but mostly sweet, a temporary treat, where somebody told me so I'd have known. I've been a drifter down most highways, I've been lost at sea, but there's one thing this world can never take from me. No count on the Southern Star. But there's one thing this world can never take from me. No matter how far I go, no matter how deep the dark, I know I can always count on the Southern Star. Under the Southern Star, I heal all of my scars. As cicadas sing, ain't it the sweetest thing? Winding curves of vines untangled up my back. Happy love, it is my home, sweet home. Happy love, it is my home, sweet home.
And that was Brent Cobb with Southern Star, following his interview that we sat down and got with him at Born and Raised Country Music Festival. Guys, let me tell you, if you like rock or you like country or you like both, it doesn't matter, folks. It was absolutely a great month at the Rockin' Red Dirt Festival grounds in Pryor, Oklahoma. We want to thank Sharon and Dave and DWP and everybody involved with this year's festivals for granting us media access and allowing us to set with these stars. You know, we've only missed one Born and Raised since it was launched. We've been to every other one since its inception, and we've been covering Rocklahoma for going on 10 years. So that's all thanks to you fine folks. You know, speaking of, we like to take a moment of every show to say thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for consuming the content and sharing with your friends, especially those of you who have found new bands, new songs, new sounds, or maybe even new genres from watching the show. That's what it's all about while we support our local music scene. So with that being said, if you would like your music featured here on Surviving Rocklahoma, do me a favor, shoot me an email, survivingrocklahoma@gmail.com. And while you're at it, include your gigs as well. We'd like to let everybody know where you're playing. So give us a holler, send us your flyer, let us know where you're going to be. We'd love to send you an audience. Now, it doesn't matter where you're consuming the content. Like, follow, subscribe, hit all of those support buttons, as those numbers do matter, especially on that YouTube where all of our interviews are posted. And coming soon, we will be getting out the full roster of Born and Raised interviews that we have accumulated. We've been trying to get those out this week. So with that being said, we also want to give another round of applause to our sponsors. First up, DEB Concerts. Let's not forget At Your Service Rentals and Rockavet. Remember, folks, veterans, active servicemen or women, send us your war face. Send us an email with your picture of you in your service uniform. We'd love to give you a shout out right here on the show. Also want to give a lot of love to the Rocklahoma bitches, a.k.a. the...
Hey, this is Brent Cobb giving a shout out to Redneck Bitches.
As well. Thank you, guys, ladies, for supporting the show. And we also want to give a shout out to the Big Old Bus, bringing a busload of debauchery to a musical festival near you. And with that being said, folks, you know, I've got just a little bit of beer left. So I got enough to remind you folks to get out and buy you some Surviving Rocklahoma threads, courtesy of Metalcore Clothing. And while you're all cozied up and you get one of those new limited edition Surviving Rocklahoma hoodies, and you're firing up that fire pit in the backyard, holding up that beer, just like we're about to do, ladies and gentlemen. Get your suds from Prior Liquors, Wines, and Spirits, because they've got what you need to have an amazing evening. So let's go ahead and have our nightcap, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, cheers to a successful show. Cheers to you guys. With that being said, folks, we appreciate you all so much, but it is winding out. We've gone over an hour, so thank you, everybody, and thank you all, folks, who have donated the stars. Remember, those stars are those little bits of currency, cyber change. That's how we fund the show, and every week we have a Stars Wars, so everybody who buys merch qualifies for a Halloween treat. We are going to do a Halloween show this year, and everyone who buys a shirt qualifies for a giveaway. We're going to pull names out of the trick or treat bucket, and the winners will get a prize. I don't even know what it is at this time yet. So once you start sending some stars, you can qualify that way. You can buy you a shirt, or you can subscribe to the podcast for the low price of $4.99. Cancel anytime, but be sure that you get entered for those Halloween prizes. With that being said, folks, let's go ahead and wrap it up. And until next time, keep it on the positive side of life. And Integral, I see you next. Rock on.